Hey everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. In today's episode, we're going to be studying a piece by the career 3D artist known as Jared Pike. And in this episode, we're going to be looking at this crystalline charm here. We're also going to explore influences of liminal spaces and the Dreamcore aesthetic. So let's jump right into it. So whenever you first see this work, we're met with a rather calm composition with this single ray of fluorescent light hosting a single rail there. Your first impression is likely one of awe to the mysticism of the piece before us here. And so one of the first things I notice are the colors within this composition. Of course, this kind of manila or yellowish gold is combined with the green here. Of course, we have most of the walls there are that kind of manila, that golden sense, and then the pool, of course, is that green. But alongside that, we have a diverse range of tones. So these all really immerse us within such an ascendant aesthetic. There is no doubt about that. And so we see this kind of crystalline charm which radiates from the composition at hand that is also related to the colors which we just mentioned. Of course, these rainbow rays here surely remind of, say, the Pink Floyd album cover and what happens whenever you shine light through crystals. So this really offers the most pure and pristine scenes imaginable. And so the work before us, like I mentioned in the opening, we have this really calm composition here. These tranquil themes may even feel as if they're inviting the viewer to come and relax within this work. And so like I mentioned, we have this single ray of light which is casted into the composition here. This really frames a single rail which leads into the dream pool and of course elevates the visual impact of that as well. Of course, most of the work is quite dark, so that single ray of luminescence is going to draw the eye to wherever it's casted upon there. So the work here is quite empty, right? We don't see any people, there's no one sitting by the poolside, there's no shadows of a person or anything like that. All we have is the slightest hint of disturbance in the water, so we wonder, what caused that? It's hard to say for sure, but there is no doubt this extremely empty feeling may even feel unsettling to some. I think that's quite interesting here, but with this in mind, how do y'all feel when you view this piece? Do you feel like you're invited to relax and sit by the poolside, or is this kind of unsettling due to how vacant it is? I think that's a pretty interesting question. So how do y'all feel when you view this piece? And so what we're looking at here is what's called the dream pool. The dream pool was really pioneered by Jared Pike in December of 2020. It has influences of both liminal spaces and the Dreamcore aesthetic. We'll go a bit deeper at that here in a second, but there really is no doubt the dream pool has sparked so many different artists to get into, say, Blender, 3D art, and the Poolcore in general. So it's absolutely stunning. And so on the topic of liminal spaces, liminal spaces can be defined as any space or region of transition. So hallways, entryways, doorways, even rails that lead into a pool is a space of transition. And these have also been associated with the back rooms, of course. We see a lot of abandoned photography, people going into abandoned places and taking a lot of different pictures of liminal spaces, typically, going into the back rooms, going into those hallways, and of course that sparked the back rooms and liminal spaces movement. So we have so many different people contributing to that, and one of those was Jared Pike. This is also related to the Dreamcore aesthetic. The Dreamcore aesthetic always includes a sense of nostalgia in some sense or another, and we see the style here, no doubt. And so I actually have some pieces from the original artist, some additional dream pools. I'm going to bring those in real quick and see what we can learn here. Alright, so I brought in a few works here, all from Jared Pike, and I want to give some insights on the Dream Pool series. So starting off, we have what is most commonly associated with the Dream Pool aesthetic. We have, of course, a very turquoise and a very sterile and surreal white tiles there. So this is what's commonly associated with Jared Pike's work. And then here we have the first Dream Pool in the entire series. So this really reminded me of the Dreamcore aesthetic the most. Of course, you have that pastel, that delicate, that pink aesthetic, but also, of course, within the Dream Pool world. And of course, we have the work from today. And then we also have a work that's much more similar in tone to today's piece here, also by Jared Pike. He was trying to create something a little different here, and I absolutely loved it, right? You have those golden tones that also reminiscent in the work before us today. So that is the Dream Pool series. Of course, so many different works within this series. And we have here, this is actually Dream Pool 36. So a lot of developments throughout this series. And we always love to get those insights from Jared Pike's work. So, on the topic of vacancy, we talked about the back rooms, the liminal spaces. We ask ourselves, where is everyone? Why isn't there anyone in this composition? But regardless of that, we can't help but feel the sense of virality, liminality, and influence echoing throughout these halls. So, really hope y'all enjoyed today. The work before us is a digital render, so it's created in a digital rendering program. That program's going to be Blender, very high skill ceiling. I see everyone from professionals to amateurs using Blender. So, if y'all want to get into the world of 3D art and create some digital renders for yourself, I would surely suggest checking out Blender. I was actually surprised, the artist doesn't use Cinema 4D or something that we would typically associate with professionals, but that is a true testament to the nature of Blender and its capabilities. So, like I said, I really hope y'all enjoyed today. We talked about so many different things, the impact of different colors, the impact of this, dream core, this liminal spaces, backrooms aesthetic, and of course the developments of Jared Pike through so many different works all the way to Dreampool 36, I believe, is the piece before us today. So, like I said, I really hope y'all enjoyed today. If y'all enjoyed today's episode, make sure to check out the original artist, Jared Pike, doing some amazing stuff in the world of the digital render, and has no doubt inspired so many different creators to create their own works of 3D art as well. So, like I said, I really hope y'all enjoyed today. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.